one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401.
Well, yesterday was a pretty, debate-filled hearing at the Illinois Supreme Court. We'll break that down for you, give you all the highlights, plus in the 7 o'clock hour, all the highlights from the Springfield City Council meeting, and so much more. We've got a lot to get to, all right? So stay tuned. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk, now 6:03 on WMAY.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, Springfield Mayor Misty Buscher is not offering any more explanation for her decision to fire the director of Lincoln Library and another top library staffer. Summer Griffith was informed Monday that her services are no longer needed, but says no other reason was given for the decision. A spokesperson for Buscher says a nationwide search will get underway to find a library director with a library sciences degree, something Griffith did not have. The spokesperson says that will ensure the library doesn't miss out on any grant funding opportunities. Meanwhile, the library's community engagement manager, Hillary Raines, has also been dismissed. Raines had taken the lead in getting library staff to sign a letter in support of keeping Griffith on. Buscher's office won't comment on whether that prompted Raines' firing. Hundreds of moms have come to the Illinois Capitol to demand more action against gun violence. Even though Illinois has passed numerous gun restrictions, including an assault weapons ban that remains tied up in court, the group Moms Demand Action says more can and should be done to keep Illinoisans safe. The group held a rally at the State House Tuesday calling for passage of several measures, including new requirements for safe gun storage and provisions to make it easier to sue the gun industry over acts of mass violence. One of the biggest names in country music has been booked for the Illinois State Fair grandstand. Three-time Grammy winner Tim McGraw will be the headliner on Thursday, August 17th. McGraw has had 46 number-one country hits and has sold more than 90 million records worldwide. Opening for McGraw will be a rising country star, Landon Parker. Tickets for Tim McGraw in the grandstand go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. through Ticketmaster at prices ranging from $85 to $150. Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
Less frustration, more vacation. Book a nonstop flight from Springfield's Abraham Lincoln Capitol Airport, SPI to Fort Myers, Punta Gorda at Allegiant.com and experience the sun, fun, and relaxation of Southwest Florida. Find low fares and save big by bundling at Allegiant.com. Fly from SPI and spend more time enjoying vacation. Book your flight from SPI at Allegiant.com. Fly local. Fly SPI. Take the easy way out.
Take the easy way out.
Going with SMTD has never been easier.
With the new Go SMTD mobile app available for Apple and Android devices.
Now there's no need to carry cash or worry about losing your pass.
Purchase rides and passes on the go with your debit or credit card.
When you board, simply activate your fare on your device and then scan your phone screen at the fare box.
Get the new Go SMTD mobile app today.
Learn more at smtd.org.
What are you hungry for?
Obed and Isaac sounds good.
They're always busy.
Yeah, they are. It's because the food is great. The selection of craft beer is amazing, and it's downtown. It couldn't be at a better location.
What if we have to wait?
We'll put in our name, give them our number to text us when our table is ready, and then go next door to the 7th Street Cidery and start there.
I like the way you think. They serve meads too, right?
Yeah, they do. You can get your mead, and I'll start with a flight of cider. They're constantly getting new ciders on tap all the time.
What if Obed's isn't busy and they seat us right away?
The cidery doesn't close till 11, so we can just finish the night there.
You've got this all figured out, don't you?
Yeah, I do. You should see my reward points that I've built up.
So, you're buying, right?
I didn't say that.
That's what I heard.
No, you didn't.
Obed and Isaac's Microbrewery, located in downtown Springfield, right next door to the 7th Street Cidery. Enjoy.
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Sunny skies today, high near 77 degrees, low tonight about 52. Tomorrow sunny with a high near 79, low around 61. Friday, expect afternoon showers with a high near 76. Sunny skies for the weekend. Both days, Saturday and Sunday, will have highs in the 70s, and Monday, sunny with a high near 81 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
This is the Crime Stoppers Crime of the Week, sponsored by Barcom Security.
Hi, I'm Officer Drew Zabados, Crime Stoppers Coordinator for Sangamon and Menard counties. This week, Crime Stoppers wants to make you aware of an upcoming event. Crime Stoppers will be hosting their golf outing on Friday, June 30th at Piper Glen Golf Course. The event starts at 11 a.m. with registration and lunch, followed by a 12 o'clock shotgun start to the outing. There are multiple sponsorship opportunities as well. To register a team for the outing or for more information, you can visit our website, cashfortips.us, or call the office at 217-788-8324. Crime Stoppers operates off the generous donations and fundraising support that we receive from all of you, and we thank you for that. If you have information about crime, call Crime Stoppers tip line anonymously at 217-788-8427. Submit a tip on our website or use the P3 app. If your tip results in an arrest, you could receive a cash reward up to $2,500. Remember, Crime Stoppers only want your information, not your name.
Catch a criminal, get a reward. Crime Stoppers of Sangamon and Menard County, sponsored by the Springfield office of Barcom Security. BarcomSecurity.com. Have a secure day.
Are you more concerned about crime than you were a year ago? You're probably not alone. But this rising wave doesn't have to catch you off guard. Barcom Security is protecting more Central Illinois homes and businesses every day. Being proactive and dealing with it now will keep you and your family more secure. Make it your next call. Contact the Springfield office of Barcom Security for a free estimate and have a secure day.
Hats off to our donors. Right now, when you donate blood, we'll give you a limited edition navy blue Impact Life baseball hat or a $10 gift card voucher to one of our participating businesses. Even if you try to give blood and find out you can't, we're still giving you a gift. Visit the Impact Life Donor Center today at Wabash and Chatham Road near Goodwill or on South Main Street in Decatur. Please give what's in your heart because we are changing the world together. Visit bloodcenter.org.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
Can the Second Amendment be diluted by the state's version of the Second Amendment? That was an argument that was made in front of the Illinois Supreme Court yesterday, and I've got your highlights here with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. I'm Greg Bishop. Thanks for hanging out, and obviously we've been covering a lot of the ins and outs of all of the litigation against Illinois' gun and magazine ban, and in the various courts that there are, you've got the federal courts dealing with Illinois' ban and local bans in the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals with cases that are consolidated there, but also a pending emergency injunction motion that was in front of the U.S. Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett. That's still pending. So again, that's the federal courts, but you also have the state level courts dealing with a challenge out of Macon County from State Representative Dan Calkins and others. After getting a injunction in the Macon County courts, the state took it right to the Supreme Court because the 5th Appellate District had already ruled on a similar but separate case that was brought by attorney Thomas DeVore called Accuracy Firearms out of Effingham County. So since the 5th Circuit said that the case had a likelihood of advancing on its merits, the state of Illinois just took this challenge from Macon County straight to the Illinois Supreme Court. So that's where we head now. You have the Assistant Attorney General opening things up with being the defendants in this case. And here's how that played out at the court yesterday.
Assistant Attorney General Lee Jonig for the defendant appellants. I want to begin by identifying the claims at issue in this appeal. The Circuit Court held that the assault weapons and large capacity magazine restrictions in the Protect Illinois Communities Act violated the equal protection and special legislation clauses of the Illinois Constitution. Those are the claims that are at issue here.
So she goes on to talk with the various justices, who then interjected with a lot of different questions, including, talk about, the issues that are at hand here and whether they're not similarly situated. And here is the Assistant Attorney General again in front of the Illinois Supreme Court yesterday.
Groups that the plaintiffs sort of claim present an equal protection violation, and the plaintiffs are not similarly situated to either. With respect to those in the grandfather provision who already had assault weapons and large capacity magazines, the plaintiffs are not similarly situated to them, to the extent that they don't already have assault weapons, because they don't have that reliance interest that people who already had assault weapons and large capacity magazines do. With respect to the 7 enumerated professions in the law, the members of the general public are not similarly situated to those in those professions because members of those professions are sort of presumed to exercise greater responsibility in the safe handling and storage of firearms.
So again, the arguments really stem around the idea and the question of, does the law violate the Second Amendment's right and equal protections under that right? There's also something about special legislation, which the plaintiffs in this case raised. But you had questions from the various justices in this case, including Justice Lisa Holder-White. She talks about whether or not this is a Second Amendment issue.
It's your position that there is no claim pursuant to the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, but they seem to be intertwined. This court has recognized that the Second Amendment right is a fundamental right. Is that correct?
Well, it's not correct in the equal protection context. It's true.
Has this court recognized that the right to bear arms is a fundamental right? I didn't add what you just added in terms of equal protection.
Well, it's fundamental in the sense of, like the use of that term in McDonald, for example, where the U.S. Supreme Court called the Second Amendment fundamental, but it wasn't talking about an equal protection claim at all. There was no equal protection claim or any sort of groups being treated differently in McDonald. What McDonald was holding was that the Second Amendment is an individual right.
So they're discussing a lot of different, legal precedents from McDonald to, even the Bruin decision came up quite a bit yesterday. The Supreme Court Chief Justice Mary Jane Teese, she talked about the plaintiff's pleading and questioned whether or not it's addressing the Second Amendment.
That we should look at what it is that the plaintiffs pled and for which they are asking declaratory judgment. On count 4, at issue is the Illinois Constitution, not the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution. That's the language in the pleading. This is judgment on the pleading. Let me ask you some questions about the Illinois Constitution.
So again, you've got Chief Justice Teese raising that issue, and she brings it up several times as well whenever the plaintiffs get to discuss things. The issue also comes up about a variety of different thresholds that need to be met, strict scrutiny, or a variety of other ideas and legal precedents that there are when dealing with individual liberties and fundamental rights. Here's Supreme Court Justice Overstreet.
That's what this case hinges upon, the whether we apply rational or strict scrutiny basis. Isn't that the whole ball of wax in this case?
Well, if the court moves past the threshold element, which, again, this court has described as kind of the first step of the similarly situated requirement, then yes, the next question would be what level of scrutiny applies.
And Supreme Court Chief Justice Teese, again, talks about how the argument about the Second Amendment doesn't seem to be part of this case.
Elsewhere.
Why are we talking about the Second Amendment at all? When paragraph 128 of the complaint limits this claim to the Illinois Constitution?
Because the plaintiffs, so it's true that when the plaintiffs brought their claim, the only kind of path to strict scrutiny that they put forth was the Illinois Constitution's right to bear arms.
This is judgment on the pleadings. Count 4 and 5. Count 4, the words Second Amendment appear nowhere. The only reference to any constitutional right is the Illinois Constitution. Perhaps they're making an argument, and maybe that could be made in the federal court, but that's not what they pled.
So the Chief Justice there raising those concerns and reiterating that time and again, this doesn't seem to be dealing with a Second Amendment issue. More it deals with the equal protections issues and the the special legislation issue. But at hand here is also how people are treated differently when it comes to this fundamental rights that the plaintiffs allege, and how, for instance, those who did have these firearms before January 10th of 2023, they're grandfathered in. They don't have to have the specialized training that the exempt individuals have, but they can keep their firearms, as opposed to somebody else in the general public who wants to get one of those semi-automatic rifles. They can't, and they're similarly situated as the general public. So that's kind of the one of the overall arguments. But on that grandfather position, here's the Assistant Attorney General.
Plaintiffs haven't put forth any, authorities that would suggest that, a grandfather provision that permits, that in which a legislature kind of goes not, so far as taking away existing assault weapons would be irrational, nor do they point to any authority that would suggest that, taking into account the profession of these, the particular professions identified in the Act would be irrational when you're talking about firearms regulations. And then now to get to the two new claims that the plaintiffs raise in their brief.
So the Assistant Attorney General then goes into the three readings violations that are alleged and a variety of other arguments in her closing, saying that the court should remand it back to the district court and overturn the injunction that was issued. Coming back, we will hear from Jerry Stocks. He's the attorney that represented Dan Calkins in this case, and a lot of questions back and forth with justices at the Illinois Supreme Court yesterday. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk, now 619 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions. And did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Here at Warren Boynton State Bank, we're proud to be a true community bank since 1877. We remind you that the goal of a community bank is to work together with our customers and communities to help move them forward in positive ways. When we accept your deposits, we invest that money right back into this area, into homes, farms, and small businesses. One of our primary goals is to help this community in any way we can. And because we've invested in you, our friends and neighbors, our bank is safe and sound and in business to stay. We're sincere in our care and concern for this community. Our employers, directors, and managers are people you know, people who are dedicated to making this a better place to live. Discover what a true community bank is at Warren Boynton State Bank, 3030 Spring Mill Drive in Springfield. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
You hear a lot about influencers these days. Well, the personalities you hear on our radio stations have been influencing purchasing decisions at local businesses in Central Illinois long before it was a hot new marketing buzzword.
What's up? It is Lars. I'm not one to talk about myself a lot, unless it's about that one time I interviewed Blink-182. Fantastic interview. Funny dudes. Started talking about Viagra. But that's not why you came. Let me be like Tom Cruise in that one movie when he said, goose eject. No. That wasn't it. Different movie. I know what it is. Help me help you. Help me help you with your business by allowing me to talk more about it, and that way you can show me and you the money.
Make a bigger impact with your marketing dollars and pair your business needs with the right local influencer and campaign strategy. Learn more about all of our local influencers and start the conversation today at MidwestFamilySPI.com. That's MidwestFamilySPI.com.
Backed by popular demand, don't miss the Yachty Tumbler giveaway on Friday, May 19th, when the Cards host the Dodgers. That night, 25,000 fans aged 16 and older will take home their own stainless steel tumbler featuring Yachty Air Molina, courtesy of Coca-Cola and Quick Trip. This 30-ounce Yachty tumbler in two styles, and you'll not know which one you get until you enter the gates at Busch Stadium on Friday, May the 19th.
This is Ollie Marmol. Get your tickets now at Cardinals.com.
On Sunday, May 21st, the Cardinals host the Dodgers, and that day, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home a Cardinals golf umbrella. Don't let a little rain ruin your parade or game with this green umbrella that features iconic Cardinals Hall of Famers. That's Sunday, May 21st, the Cardinals, the Dodgers, and the golf umbrella giveaway. For tickets and information, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Ozzie Smith. Thank you for being the best fans in baseball.
Here's what we believe at Rex Battery. You should be able to find the right battery when you need it. Our company started when my dad needed a battery for his car and he built it himself. Today, more than 50 years later, we are still making sure you can find the right battery you need. And that includes the common batteries people use every day to the hard-to-find batteries used in big farm equipment. While online outlets are struggling with supply chain issues, we have shelves full of batteries. The best part is we're right here in town and ready to help today. Hearing aids, power tools, and the car in your garage. If it takes a battery, you can find the battery at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Dazzling decal on Daisy's Donuts window. Bold banner at Barry's Barbershop. Prominent poster at Penny's on Park Place.
This is your sign. Well, signs. To try Staples and see the difference. Get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more.
From Staples, and I couldn't miss it.
End 6/17. Visit staplesconnect.com/printbig for details.
All right, head over to WMAY.com/poll and take today's daily poll, which asks you, do you agree with Springfield Mayor Misty Buscher's decision to oust Lincoln Library Director Summer Griffith? Yes or no? And it's evenly split this morning. We'll update you on that all throughout the morning. While you're at the website, go check out WMAY.com/fly, where you can learn how to win a $75 flight rebate from Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport. Again, get the details and win today at WMAY.com.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 92.7 WMAY.
Let's get back into it. The Illinois Supreme Court hearing oral arguments yesterday about the state's gun ban and whether or not it violates equal protections and special legislation. But there was the ongoing question when the Supreme Court justices were asking questions of the Assistant Attorney General in this case about whether or not this deals with the Second Amendment. Jerry Stocks, representing Dan Calkins, says it does deal with the Second Amendment.
Paragraphs 2, 135, 136, and 157 expressly invoke the Second Amendment.
What paragraphs were?
Paragraphs 2, 135, 136, and 157. 136 invokes it by express citation to McDonald.
It cites McDonald.
It cites McDonald.
Does the word Second Amendment appear anywhere in the fourth count?
No, it cites McDonald.
So what does 128 mean? Paragraph 128, where you say, at issue is the Illinois Constitution.
It is at issue, but it is not exclusively at issue.
And again, this is the back and forth between Jerry Stocks and the Chief Justice, Mary Jane Teese, and the back and forth continued about, the courts and what kind of rulings they're looking at here.
The economic franchise and gun commerce.
I also
so in count 5, you no longer are talking about the broad idea of the rights to sell guns. What are you talking about in count 5?
Not true. I incorporate the entirety of count 4 into count 5 because equal protection and special legislation overlap, save they're not coterminous because of the applicability of can we write a general law would be the additional element to a special legislation challenge. But every fact that is in the equal protection cause of action, every last one of those facts is included in the special legislation. And the word additional is not replace everything I already have stated. It is saying that we have additional rights that are implicated by this statutory scheme that not only invades the right to possess firearms in the home, which is undisputedly a protected right, but it is reaching broader to create how we can do non-commercial transfer, inheritance even. It is permeating a whole range of transactions in a patchwork manner.
So Tease goes on to talk about questions around what is the similar groups that are impacted here from the law being enacted.
What is the similarly situated group in count 5? Can you be precise as to that?
The similarly situated group that is common to everyone is that they all have the fundamental individual right to keep and bear arms. And at its least disputed, they have that fundamental individual right to keep and bear arms in their home for confrontation and self-defense.
So Stocks then gets questions from several other Supreme Court justices, including Elizabeth Rochford, who, again, is one of the 2 Supreme Court justices that got $1 million from Governor J.B. Pritzker when they were running for the office. Rochford declined to recuse herself. She was on the bench yesterday, as was Mary O'Brien. Mary O'Brien didn't ask any questions, but Justice Rochford asked several questions of Attorney Stocks.
You agree that a threshold consideration for this court is whether or not the parties are similarly situated. Do you agree with that?
There's a threshold before that, but I believe the first question presented is, does the Second Amendment or Article 1, Section 22, which we cannot dilute with the Illinois Constitution, the federal Constitution as to the Second Amendment, would it tolerate either the prohibitions or the regulations that we have? If the answer is no to that question, this case is over.
Then Rochford continues that line of questioning about similarly situated individuals, but how there are those who could be exempt from having to comply with the gun ban. Here's that question and answer amongst Rochford and Stocks.
In this statute, there are 7 categories of exempted individuals, all of whom must undergo training to maintain their exempt status. And the plaintiff, in this case, the plaintiffs, you're saying, well, they have FOID cards, correct?
They have the right to bear arms for self-defense in the home. The FOID card doesn't give them that right. The FOID card is just a mechanism by which the state can assure that they're not otherwise disqualified.
And Rochford then continues her line of questioning about how these individuals who are treated differently are similar with Stocks' arguments.
But how are these plaintiffs similarly situated to the exempt individuals?
They all have FOID cards. They all have the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms in their home. And Bruin has even gone, and Caetano's gone farther to say that that right of confrontation may extend beyond the home. But for purposes of this case and the arguments below, we are out to protect where they are all similarly situated to have Second Amendment or Article 1, Section 22 rights in their home, which is the right to keep and bear arms of common use.
Justice Tease continues her line of questioning with Jerry Stocks having to respond to some of the questions time and again from justices. It was full. His section of time was full of all kinds of questions instead of him just merely presenting the arguments. But here's the Chief Justice.
You say we start with the right. Whether it's the Second Amendment right or the Illinois Constitution, we start with the right and not the sections of the Illinois Constitution about equal protection and special legislation. We don't look at that until we start with what is the right, correct?
True.
That's what you say, all right. Has the United States Supreme Court or any court of appeals across this country said that there is a constitutional right to keep and bear assault weapons?
The 3 cases have been handguns. However, we'll go to Heller, McDonald, and Bruin, and Caetano, those 4 cases. But they say that the right to bear arms is applicable, as we have in our brief, to bearable arms of common use.
So we have to decide that huge question first before we get to special legislation or equal protection?
No, because we are here on a pleading that they demurred to, where those are the allegations. Those facts are established in this case. That is what is, as we've come through and wondered, why have they decided to defend in the manner they've defended?
So Stocks then continues on to go right to his arguments in this case. Here is Jerry Stocks getting close to his allotted time in front of the Illinois Supreme Court yesterday.
We do not advocate nor do we believe that the Second Amendment tolerates in any manner these prohibitions of assault weapons based on the mere fortuity of when you may acquire them. But setting that aside, if everyone would have to regulate their firearm because of the purpose that we want to keep track of where those arms are, equal protection requires that that fundamental individual right be applied to all citizens the same, because it is an individual right. It is not a status of employment. It is not a special immunity or benefit. I mean, these are criminal statutes, and we're immunizing folks that have absolutely no difference in the enjoyment of the Second Amendment or the enjoyment of Article 1, Section 22, whichever prism we want to view this, than anyone else. But we are creating winners and losers in special legislation when, if the Second Amendment tolerates that type of prohibition or regulation at all, it should be by general law, which walks right into the special legislation prohibition, Article 4, Section 13, which was not part of accuracy firearms.
So Stocks, he is then asked more questions from Elizabeth Rochford during yesterday's oral arguments.
The special legislation clause prohibits an arbitrary classification. And in this case, the classification is based on the training of the exempt individuals, and that they continue to maintain that training while they maintain their exempt status, as opposed to just everyone else. Is that an arbitrary?
It is arbitrary because consider this. A military veteran is trained, but he can't have that weapon to protect his family at home. A security guard may or may not be trained, but he has it only while he works. Heller and McDonald both say the Second Amendment elevates above all interests. It's not tolerating interest for a police officer, interest for a security guard, interest for a prison warden, interest for whatever, or here, the most glaring offense, for the grandfathered. There is no reason to conclude, but on an arbitrary basis, that the grandfathered are any better trained or safer than those that would acquire the weapon later on.
And then Stocks gets some questions from Illinois Supreme Court Justice Lisa Holder White, and here's that exchange.
And so you rely on Bruin, and so the first step is we have to determine whether or not the Second Amendment's plain text covers the individual conduct. So having this weapon, having this ammunition. There's a presumption, correct, under the Constitution that it does cover that.
I concur.
Okay.
Prima facie case.
And so then the burden falls to the state to justify the regulation by demonstrating that it's consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation.
I agree.
If they don't establish that, then we're done.
You're done. And if they do...
Sir, isn't that the analysis in the federal cases? When it's a direct challenge to the Second Amendment, Bruin, et cetera, are all about the Second Amendment. That's not what you brought. You framed this in a totally different way. You could have joined the three cases, the federal cases. You chose to shape it in a different way. About special legislation and equal protection. A much different analysis.
It is not. You cannot even begin to address the grounds that are in this complaint without addressing and finding what the Second Amendment says in this case, on both ends.
So have you been arguing all the way through that the burden is on the state to come forward with historical analog?
I've argued that the Second Amendment creates a fundamental right. I don't remember every statement, but it has been in every brief.
So this is the first time that you've argued that in this court?
No, I've argued this in the trial court.
So Stocks, again, getting a lot of questions peppered from a different array of justices there. The Supreme Court took it under advisement, and that means that we could see some kind of ruling in the weeks or months ahead. So we'll keep you posted on all of that. Hey, stay tuned because we've got a lot more coming up, including reaction from Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul and Jerry Stocks after the hearing. That's coming up next here, late for news, 6:37 from Culver's West on Wabash.
Lincoln Land Community College will automatically be able to transfer to Illinois Wesleyan University in Bloomington to continue their education under an agreement signed Tuesday by officials with both schools. The guaranteed admission agreement applies to LLCC students in a transfer-oriented program who maintain a grade point average of 3.0 or higher. Students in certain majors will be guaranteed to enter Wesleyan with junior status, ensuring they can complete their bachelor's degree in 4 years. Students who are interested in the transfer agreement will work with counselors from both schools to ensure they've taken all the proper coursework for eligibility. Springfield Mayor Misty Buscher is not offering any more explanation for her decision to fire the director of Lincoln Library and another top library staffer. Summer Griffith was informed Monday that her services are no longer needed, but says no other reason was given for the decision. A spokesperson for Buscher says a nationwide search will get underway to find a library director with a library sciences degree, something Griffith did not have. The spokesperson says that will ensure the library doesn't miss out on any grant funding opportunities. Meanwhile, the library's community engagement manager, Hillary Raines, has also been dismissed. Raines had taken the lead in getting library staff to sign a letter in support of keeping Griffith on. Buscher's office won't comment on whether that prompted Raines' firing. An executive with Springfield Clinic says its partnership with the Shields Sports Park is not just an investment in that facility, but in the broader development of Legacy Point. Appearing live on WMAY, Chief Development Officer Cal Thomas says the newly announced deal will lead to establishment of sports medicine facilities at the sports park itself, as well as an off-site state-of-the-art walk-in clinic at Legacy Point, offering urgent care and a variety of specialty services. He says the clinic will invest millions in the project, but could not provide a more exact figure. Thomas expects groundbreaking for the sports park to happen in July, if not sooner, and says the new clinic services inside and outside the park should be operational by late 2024 or early 2025. District 186 has apparently given up on the idea of combining 3 elementary schools at a site on South 11th Street. The school board voted Monday night to continue with negotiations on the purchase of a smaller parcel of developed land at that site, which could serve as a consolidated administrative building for the district. But the board will not pursue the larger property where it had initially planned to build a new school combining Hazeldale, Laketown, and Southern View schools. The district has not ruled out merging those 3 schools at a different site. Meanwhile, the board also approved the purchase of several parcels of land near Springfield High School. The $2 million purchase will provide more space for a planned rebuild and expansion of Springfield High over the next several years. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Every industry has specialists, like Alan here. He knows radiators.
Radiators. I love them. Don't even talk to me about brakes or fuel lines.
Just radiators.
Radiators.
Sally is a specialist in cakes.
I think pies are an abomination.
Really? Pies?
Yuck.
Then we have Dick Van Dyke Appliance Group. You know what they're great at? Appliances. Nothing else. No TVs, no computer printers, no radiators.
Who's got a problem with radiators?
Nobody, Alan, but you can't get one at Dick Van Dyke Appliance World.
Too bad. They're missing out.
I'm Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. All we do is appliances. And when that's all you do it better than anyone else. Our associates on our sales floors know more about them. Our delivery people are better at installing them. And our technicians are better at fixing them. All right here in Central Illinois. Wow!
I can't believe you don't like pies, though.
What do I look like, some kind of a peasant?
No.
Cakes are really the best thing.
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
From the Shawnee Forest to the city of Champaign and beyond, our Health Alliance members come from all over Illinois and all walks of life. But they have one thing in common. They're part of a powerful alliance that puts community first. Because Illinois isn't just their home, it's ours too. For over 40 years, Health Alliance has been covering members like their family. With more in-network providers, more personalized help, and a service team that goes the extra mile. Visit healthalliance.org/together to learn more and enroll.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do, do it with a Coors Light. Mountain Cold Refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Hi, it's Taylor Stevens from Synergy Home Care. Catch our business spotlight this afternoon at 5:40 on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Sunny skies today, high near 77 degrees, low tonight about 52. Tomorrow sunny with a high near 79, low around 61. Friday, expect afternoon showers with a high near 76. Sunny skies for the weekend. Both days, Saturday and Sunday, will have highs in the 70s, and Monday, sunny with a high near 81 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lotterback Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
There are many reasons to buy a Verlo mattress. We've narrowed it down to the 8 great reasons to choose Verlo. Reason number 1, we're a second-generation, family-owned and operated business. My dad and older brother opened this store almost 25 years ago. Their sons are still involved in the business. You're not just talking with a salesperson at Verlo, you're with family, with the guys that build your mattress. We're not just selling you a mattress, we genuinely care about improving the quality of your sleep. For a list of all 8 great reasons and our current sale, Google us or like us on Facebook.
Listen, at Verlo Mattress, saving a lot on a comfortable mattress with a lifetime comfort guarantee is easy. Why? Well, because we make our mattresses right at the store. Yeah, we cut out the middleman, and voila, you got it. We pass the savings directly on to you every day. So hurry in today to your local Verlo, where there are no middleman markups. Wake up, sleep better, and save at Verlo.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
Marilyn Nash. I like all the people here. They all treat me nice. Like since my sister moved here, it's been better because if I want to go upstairs or if I want to argue with her, I can. You know, I mean, we're sisters, right? But yeah, I like just about everything here.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
Do-it-yourself ordering kiosks now inside Head West mean getting your sub faster.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is today's Ion Travel Minute. The latest passenger satisfaction ratings are now out from J.D. Power, and some of the winners might surprise you. Airlines were ranked by the type of aircraft they fly, their baggage delivery or loss record, passenger boarding and check-in efficiencies, as well as cost and fares, and yes, even by flight crew interaction with passengers. JetBlue came in number 1 for their Mint business class. Spirit and Frontier received some of the lowest scores by passengers. But then there was the biggest surprise. Southwest Airlines won for its economy service, and that's despite the company's massive meltdown last December, delaying or in some cases stranding nearly 2 million passengers. For more information, visit petergreenberg.com. I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is today's Ion Travel Minute.
Brought to you by the Capital One Venture X card. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel, plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Well, we got tons of arguments still to get to from yesterday's Illinois Supreme Court hearing, including the back and forth between the defendants and the plaintiffs after the court hearing. Let's go ahead and hear from what Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul had to tell members of the media yesterday during the kind of post-hearing analysis of sorts. Here's the Attorney General from yesterday responding to a whole host of questions from members of the media.
I think that's a false argument. I mean, what they pled, they're taught in law school to plead the cases, the matters that you want argued they strategically, perhaps they didn't want to argue in federal court, they strategically, unlike others who have challenged this act, they chose not to plead a Second Amendment case, and so there's no reason for the Supreme Court to go to that.
Now, Raul, he also said that he was confident, especially with various high-profile mass shootings that have happened. So he laid that out. But he was asked about the difference between those who are grandfathered and those of the general public who aren't grandfathered. Why are they given this kind of special privilege of the Second Amendment when it comes to accessing commonly owned firearms?
There's some people who are, the legislature made the decision to grandfather some and then to make exceptions for those who are serving in sort of a law enforcement capacity.
So the Attorney General, again, laying out the rationale he believes that allows for some to have them and others to not, and it's about eliminating the proliferation of what he calls assault weapons. But I asked him, well, if it's all about training, then why can't I get the same type of training, pay for it out of pocket? Why can't I get that same type of training that, say, law enforcement can get? And here's the Attorney General's response. Can I not get the same type of training that law enforcement can get, or security or wardens can get? Can I,
Well, you play a different role, right? It's not just a question of training. You're not in a law enforcement role, I don't think.
Well, and then I asked him about the federal cases.
With regards to the federal cases, we're going to litigate that in federal court, not before microphones.
So you don't want to talk strategy or?
No, but I appreciate the offer.
So Attorney General Kwame Raoul there after the hearing. You can watch the entirety of that 5 minutes on my YouTube channel. Just search Bishop on air and you'll find that. You can also watch the entirety of the 12 minutes with Attorney Jerry Stocks outside of the Supreme Court in Springfield yesterday, where he talked about, I guess, his initial reaction to how the hearing went, getting peppered with all kinds of questions.
Well, anytime you argue, you never know whether a justice is testing your resolve in a particular principle or contention, or whether they're trying to tell you that you're clueless on that contention. So it's always difficult to predict a panel, and so we wait patiently and hope that the analysis not only considers everything that was argued today, but there's a lot more depth and a lot more detail in the briefs of all the parties.
And I asked him about how this obviously is, a question of equal protections and Second Amendment, but the court's really asking about whether this is a Second Amendment case. Here's Stocks yesterday.
This was about the fundamental individual right under the Second Amendment that could not be diluted by Illinois' version of the Second Amendment, and how that was the beginning point for the analysis. This is a declaratory judgment action. The rigidity which they're seeking to apply to the pleadings would really be a significant break from the general rules of civil procedure in reviewing these things. And the fact of the matter is, the Supreme Court under Rule 366 can embrace a full breadth of issues, and under its own precedent can determine it on any basis found in record, anything argued implicitly, and all of these issues were present in our briefing below and also informed the 5th District's opinion and accuracy. So they're the highest court. So there's what they want to embrace, there's what they may want to avoid, and the reasons for that very well could transcend the four corners of this case.
So he also sets up an example about equal protections, talking about how you can't block one person from voting, but then he simplifies it down to the Second Amendment arguments.
Perhaps its most simplified is the Second Amendment, because it is declared to be an individual right above all other interests. And so anytime you get into some balancing, that fundamental individual right has been declared by our U.S. Supreme Court to elevate above all other interests. So that's whether we're here on equal protection, special legislation, Second Amendment. It is what is at issue in this case. That's at the core. It was at the core of our complaint.
So again, we're hearing from Jerry Stocks. He is the attorney representing Dan Calkins in the case brought before the Illinois Supreme Court yesterday. He was asked to explain, we have obviously the equal protections, we have the Second Amendment, we have this idea of special legislation. He was asked to explain that aspect of his argument.
Special legislation is passing a law that reposes a benefit, immunity, or privilege to one person similarly situated that's not given to another. Here, the grandfathered are given an immunity from prosecution. They're given the privilege of possession. They're given the right of transfer and sale, or not of sale, but the right of transfer to an heir. Those that do not have an assault weapon as defined don't have those rights. And there's no difference in their training. All it is that one happens to have the gun already. But consider this, is that if they want to justify these classifications on training, how is the grandfather trained any better than the other layperson that wants the gun? Mere possession is not training. That is the bellwether of arbitrary classification, and that is where special legislation should drop this legislation.
So again, Jerry Stocks representing Dan Calkins in the case heard before the Illinois Supreme Court yesterday. No real indication as to when we're going to see a ruling come out of the Illinois Supreme Court. That could be in the weeks and months ahead. We'll keep you posted on that, and we'll have to talk more about the issue of the conflicts of interest allegations that Stocks brought against the two justices. We'll have to unpack that later. We just don't have time for it right now. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on WMAY 653 from Culver's West on Wabash.
Culver's West on Wabash is hiring for all shifts and all positions. Apply today in person.
X with a double X battery. Generations of power. Batteries of all shapes and sizes. Excellent service. Exceptional value.
They're called Motobat batteries, and we have them at Rex. Motobats are batteries for motorcycles that are powerful enough to handle all your accessories. As you add new gadgets to your motorcycle, the standard factory battery may not be enough to handle it all. The Motobat battery is designed to send enough juice to the whole motorcycle and keep you moving down the road. At Rex Battery, we have all kinds of batteries for all kinds of vehicles. The Motobat battery has a quad flex terminal design, shortening the path to the battery cable. That means you get quicker power delivery and improved starting ability. If you have a motorcycle, you need Motobat. Rex Battery on Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
The month of May is Motorcycle Safety Month, National Barbecue Month, and National Hamburger Month. Those have the guys at Just Beds all fired up for summer. This month, get sizzling hot deals on Bemco twin mattresses, just $149, and Bemco queen pillow top mattresses, only $289. Get to Just Beds for a better night's sleep. Plus, register to win Night's Action Park passes. As always, free delivery, setup, and removal. Visit the Yawn Exterminators at Just Beds on Montvale Drive, Springfield.
Just Beds. John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We stand behind what we sell. We offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Stay connected by visiting BLH Computers for an upgrade or repair to that system you're currently using. Laptops are available at a fraction of new prices, and all of them come with the exclusive lifetime BLH guarantee. All in-stock parts are free, and if you bought it from BLH Computers in the first place, the labor is always free. Upgrade, replace, repair at BLH Computers in Jacksonville, Taylorville, Springfield, and always online at blhcomputers.com.
If you want to bank safe from anywhere, get the app you can use everywhere. Your money's right in your hand. Nobody loves you like Heartland. Get a loan, pay a bill when you're on the go. Deposit that check right from your phone. Download our app and you can. Nobody loves loves you like Heartland. We're like a bank, but only better, 'cause you'll remember. Bank like you own the place. Heartland Credit Union.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Doors take us to summers away, or winter adventures, and afternoon getaways. Your dedicated Fidelity advisor can help you open those doors by working with you on a comprehensive plan to help you reach your wealth's full potential. Because doors were meant to be opened. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimum supply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
Listen and watch the interviews with today's newsmakers on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe now. Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
Whew, what an hour that was. Jam-packed, of course. If you missed anything, you could see it clipped out on my YouTube channel. Just search Bishop on Air. Greg Bishop here, Springfield's Morning News. Coming up next, we've got the Springfield City Council Roundup. Last night's first Springfield City Council meeting with Mayor Misty Buscher. Nobody there to raise questions about the firing of the Lincoln Public Library now that the new Buscher administration came in. But she does address who's going to take over on an interim basis while I do a nationwide search. Plus, some back and forth about various ordinances. Got a lot to get to at the Council Roundup. That's coming your way next here with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop. It's now 7 o'clock on WMAY.
From the Fly SPI Studios, take the easy way out. WMAY FM, Taylorville, Springfield's News and Talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Justin Finch. Abortion rights groups are furious that North Carolina Republicans overrode that state's Democratic governor's veto of a restrictive abortion bill. It means North Carolina now bans most abortions after 12 weeks. ABC's Andy Field has reaction from demonstrators.
North Carolina's new 12-week abortion ban now in place. Anti-abortion activist Barry Mangus agrees with the ban.
The child has no voice. The child didn't ask to be here.
But abortion rights protester and Durham mother Landy Elliott says
this bill was rammed through in 42 hours, less time than they're asking us to wait to make a decision about our bodies that are just incredibly difficult.
North Carolina's 12-week ban has rape, incest, and mother's health exceptions.
President Biden leaves for Japan today, where he'll attend the G7 summit, but because of the looming debt ceiling crisis,
he's cutting this trip short. He is canceling stops in Papua New Guinea, where he would have been the first American president to go there, and a stop in Australia, pretty critical U.S. ally. And he said he's doing that because he needs to get back to Washington. But he said, interestingly, that he wanted to get back here for what he called final negotiations.
ABC's Karen Travers. A security upgrade at the National Security Advisor's house.
The Secret Service is furious. Somehow in late April, an unknown man made his way inside the National Security Advisor's home, apparently through an unlocked door at 3 a.m. in the morning. Sources tell us Jake Sullivan confronted the man, who left within minutes. There was a security detail of Secret Service agents who were stationed outside of Sullivan's house, who apparently never saw the man enter or leave the home.
That's ABC News Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas. Another American has been killed in Ukraine near the city of Bakhmut, according to a fellow volunteer. He was identified as Nick Mamer, an Army veteran working with a humanitarian group. This is ABC News.
Attention business owners. Stop throwing your hard-earned money away on rent. Imagine owning your own building and saving thousands every year. Sound impossible? Not if you use General Steel. General Steel can help you save thousands by owning your own custom-designed building. Just call 888-74-STEEL. That's 888-74-STEEL to see how much money you can save with General Steel. Our buildings come with a 50-year warranty, and thousands of companies, from Fortune 500 corporations to startups, have trusted the General with their building needs.
If you need to expand or start a new business, you really need General Steel.
I'm very impressed with General Steel. Everyone's been extremely helpful. I'd recommend General Steel to anyone looking to build a steel building.
Stop wasting money on rent. Call 888-74-STEEL. That's 888-74-STEEL to find out about all our popular quick construction kits, including a 40 by 60 foot building or a 50 by 100 clear span building. Just call 888-747-8335 now. That's 888-74.
All right, everybody's favorite local government review is coming up next with the Springfield City Council Roundup, brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Last night's meeting was about an hour and 45 minutes or so. Some citizens addressed the council. You've got new council members piping off about a variety of things. You've got those who remain on the council sounding off on some stuff, but also it's the first Springfield City Council meeting for new mayor, Misty Buscher. So we'll get to that all next here with Springfield's Morning News on WMAY. It's now 7:04.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. Hundreds of moms rallied at the Illinois Capitol yesterday to demand more action against gun violence. Even though Illinois has passed numerous gun restrictions, including an assault weapons ban that remains tied up in court, the group Moms Demand Action says more should be done. The group called for passage of several measures, including new requirements for safe gun storage and provisions to make it easier to sue the gun industry over acts of mass violence. Three-time Grammy Award winner Tim McGraw will appear at the Illinois State Fair grandstand on Thursday, August 17th. McGraw has had 46 #1 country hits and has sold more than 90 million records worldwide. Opening for McGraw will be a rising country star, Landon Parker. Tickets for Tim McGraw at the grandstand go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. through Ticketmaster at prices ranging from $85 to $150. Springfield Mayor Misty Buscher is not offering any more explanation for her decision to fire the director of Lincoln Library and another top library staffer. Summer Griffith was informed Monday that her services are no longer needed, but says no other reason was given for the decision. A spokesperson for Buscher says a nationwide search will get underway to find a library director with a library sciences degree, something Griffith did not have. The spokesperson says that will ensure the library doesn't miss out on any grant funding opportunities. Meanwhile, the library's community engagement manager, Hillary Raines, has also been dismissed. Raines had taken the lead in getting library staff to sign a letter in support of keeping Griffith on. Buscher's office won't comment on whether that prompted Raines' firing. Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast is next on 92.7 WMAY.
Here's one thing that psychologists and therapists believe to be a key step to achieving better mental health: meditation. It starts with proper breathing. By breathing in slowly for 5 or 10 seconds and exhaling, counting the same way, for just a few minutes each day has been a big deal for many people as they reach a new level of relaxation. Now, that's just a start. If your feelings of depression and hopelessness are accentuated with drugs and alcohol, then you may need some professional help. The team of nurses, counselors, physicians, and psychiatrists at Gateway Foundation understand that. They know what you're going through, and they can show you the way out. Gateway also uses meditation as a key component of their successful treatment. Your insurance covers the cost, and the Family Medical Leave Act protects your job. If your situation appears hopeless, make the confidential call to Gateway at 877-505-HOPE and start feeling better today. Gateway Foundation. Addiction medicine, saving lives.
Looking to buy your next home or considering listing? My wife and I recommend choosing RE/MAX Professionals of Springfield, Fritz Pfister. Working with Fritz to find our new home in Sangamon County was truly a wonderful experience. He's prompt, responsive, and we had constant communication. He was committed to serving our needs and made our home buying experience an absolute pleasure. RE/MAX Professionals of Springfield, Fritz Pfister, 217-652-7653. 217-652-7653. Buying or selling a home? Fritz makes it easy.
Hello, everybody. It's Cousin Bill with Illinois Paving, and we want to thank you for voting us #1 Reader's Choice Award Paver of the Year. Now, is that driveway of yours a sloppy, muddy mess? Is your driveway becoming a nuisance? Are you getting stuck in your driveway? Maybe your driveway is soft and it's unfunctional. Well, call the day and get on the schedule to get your driveway back to looking good, and you'll feel great about it. ILPaving.com. ILPaving.com.
Listen at home with your Amazon smart speaker. Alexa, play WMAY 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Sunny skies today, high near 77 degrees, low tonight about 52. Tomorrow sunny with a high near 79, low around 61. Friday, expect afternoon showers with a high near 76. Sunny skies for the weekend. Both days, Saturday and Sunday, will have highs in the 70s, and Monday, sunny with a high near 81 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
I had one client, when I started with her, she was only about 3 days a week. When I first started with her, she would be like, nope, I'm not getting up today. And I'd be like, okay. So the next week I would go in and be like, hi, we're getting up. And she'd be like, okay. With me, it was a learn and go. I was able to come back and really build that relationship with her. Right before she passed, I was pregnant. Every time I would come, she just looked forward to seeing the baby. And she'd just be like, I can't wait to see her. So that was probably one of the ones that hurt me the most. It's not always easy going in. It does take some time. Sometimes you can go in and it's just automatic. I love her and it works well. And then sometimes, it does take a little bit more for us to build that bond up. It's really nice to really become an extension of family. We go in and we're building the bond to not only become companion with you, but someone where you look forward to seeing every day. You can reach us at synergyhomecare.com or you can reach us at our office 217-303-8555.
Synergy Home Care, care for everyone.
If you're planning a furniture facelift, your timing couldn't be better. Hendricks Home Furnishings is moving all floor samples and warehouse overstock today. They need it all gone, so prices have been slashed to historic lows, never before seen and never to be seen again. That includes Lazy Boy. Come choose your favorites. Get it delivered fast and free during this one and only clearance blowout at the place where you can always talk to the owner. Hendricks Home Furnishings on Route 4, Verdon, and online at hendricks.tv.
Order your sub from the new Head West in-store kiosks, and you get a free brownie. Free brownie.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
Well, it's that time. What time is it?
Now it's time for Greg Bishop and the Council Roundup.
Brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to Head West. Their downtown location open for lunch. Don't forget about delivery. Head West Subs. Let's get right on into it. It's about an hour and 40-minute meeting, roughly, of the Springfield City Council. The first Springfield City Council with Mayor Misty Buscher at the helm. And they had zoning where they dealt with a variety of different issues like, docks on lakes and also fencing around lake property and so on. But getting right into the rest of the meeting, of course, you've got the treasurer's report. Colleen Redpath-Fager, the new treasurer for the city of Springfield, providing that report for city aldermen yesterday during the Springfield City Council meeting.
For the month of April, for the corporate fund, the beginning balance is $67,387,204. We took in total receipts of $9,850,543. We had total disbursements in the month of April totaling $10,146,700. $20, which left the corporate fund ending balance in the month of April at $67,056,027. The ending general fund balance includes $21,599,047, which is the April ending balance ARPA money. Thank you. That concludes my report.
So you're talking $60+ million in funds that the city has on hand, $20+ million of that being ARPA dollars. That's COVID relief money that they still have on hand. And there's a deadline for them to actually spend that money. Moving on, the new mayor, Misty Buscher, she wanted to make sure that everybody knew who the new directors were at City Hall.
That any new directors that are here would come up and introduce themselves to the council if they would, please.
And they did just that.
I'm interim purchasing agent Mike Lesko. I will get that OBM report to you this week.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. James Sullivan, Information Systems Division Director.
Congratulations.
My name is Dave Fuchs. I'm the Director of Public Works.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ethan Posey. I'm the Director of Community Relations.
Congratulations.
Line is long.
Good evening, men and women. My name is Debbie Thompson. I'm the interim HR director, and I have a professional bio if you'd like to see it. This is being in HR for 40 years.
Good evening. My name is Curtis Mann, and I am the acting director of the Lincoln Library.
Good evening, everyone. Very first day, Haley Wilson, Director of Communications.
Welcome.
Congratulations.
Hello, everybody. Mike Disco, Chief of Staff.
Good evening. Ramona Metzger, the Director of the Office of Budget and Management.
And one holdover from the previous administration.
Doug Brown, City Relight and Power.
And then change at Public Works with Nate Bottom going elsewhere.
Nate Bottom, Chief City Engineer.
All right.
Scott Dahl, Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau.
He's also from the previous administration.
Good evening. Ken Scarlett, Chief of Police.
Also from the previous administration.
Good evening. Greg Mordock, Corporation Counsel as of June 1st.
Hey, you Mordock boys did pretty good this week.
Say, the Mordock family had a hell of a week.
It's been an interesting week for us, for sure.
I would particularly like to say welcome.
Ed Caney Fire Department.
Thank you all very, very much.
So there you go. Those are the new directors and the directors that are remaining on from the previous administration. But what about Lincoln Library? We heard the acting Lincoln Library director, but this week we got news that Summerbeck Griffith was let go. You've got more detail now from Mayor Misty Buscher about who's going to be leading that in the interim.
There will be an announcement going out tomorrow, and I had permission to share this tonight, so I'm going to share it. Our interim director of the public library, Curtis Mann, will be in that position until June 1st, and then we're going to have a interim, or I guess you're the acting director right now. Then we're going to have an interim director as of June 1st, Catherine Harris. And a lot of you know Catherine Harris, and I am honored to have her at Lincoln Library, just so you know. She will not come out of retirement permanently for me. It's very sad, but I'll get her for a little bit. So we will all be blessed to have her.
Anybody who knows Catherine Harris, she's fantastic, and that's going to be interesting to see the interim there and moving forward with a new direction under Mayor Misty Buscher for the Lincoln Public Library. So they get right into the ordinances after that, after all the introductions, and one of the ordinances deals with a liquor license for Save-A-Lot on Clear Lake, where they're looking for a liquor license. Alderman Williams has some questions about that.
Madam Chair, I just have to make a motion to discuss. I just have some questions.
Is that okay, Corporation Counsel Ron?
Second.
There would be a motion first and then the discussion follows.
Okay.
So
well, I would like to make a motion to approve this, but I do have questions before we approve it.
all right, we have a motion and a second. Discussion. Alderman Williams.
Is anyone from Save-A-Lot here? Well, then my question will go to corporate counsel. So I'm okay with this if it's the liquor aisle for the grocery store. I'm not okay with it if it's for the gaming that they're wanting. So I need to make sure that this class of license does not give them gaming, but just lets them have their liquor out.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so I recommend approval.
Okay, and we had a second from Alderman Donlin? Okay.
And they went ahead and approved that. So up next, we'll talk about an ordinance with $623,000 in a grant that the city's looking to get for Route 66 operations. With the big anniversary of Route 66 coming up, they want to make sure they got everything in place that they need to have in place to bring in that celebration here for Springfield. So stay tuned. We'll get to that coming up next here on WMAY. It is Springfield's Morning News. The Council Roundup brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to Head West. All right, 7:17. Let's take a break for Culver's West on Wabash.
Deliver smiles, butter burgers, fresh custard, and great service. Culver's West on Wabash is hiring for all positions.
Here at Warren Boynton State Bank, we're proud to be a true community bank since 1877. We remind you that the goal of a community bank is to work together with our customers and communities to help move them forward in positive ways. When we accept your deposits, we invest that money right back into this area, into homes, farms, and small businesses. One of our primary goals is to help this community in any way we can. And because we've invested in you, our friends and neighbors, our bank is safe and sound and in business to stay. We're sincere in our care and concern for this community. Our employers, directors, and managers are people you know, people who are dedicated to making this a better place to live. Discover what a true community bank is at Warren Boynton State Bank, 3030 Spring Mill Drive in Springfield. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We stand behind what we sell. We offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Well, it looks like a little bit overcast day today, but you can bring some sunshine to you and your family by checking in with Mike Quimby from Green Hyundai. Him and his crew standing by to get you and your family in that new ride. Mike, tell us all about it.
That's right, Greg. Hey, that's what we're doing out here on Dirksen Parkway is, a lot of the kids are getting out of school, and folks are calling and wanting to know if we got any Elantras. And I'm really proud to say, hey, we finally got some Elantras in stock. And I kind of always have said if everybody drove an Elantra, we probably wouldn't be having issues with gas in this country. I mean, they're so fuel efficient, 42 miles a gallon on the highway. And if it's a hybrid, it gets 55. These cars are really smart buys. They sell for $22,000. That's the lowest price car in its competitive group because it is almost a full-size mid-size car, but it is small to mid-size. So it's really a fine product, and we're really proud to be able to offer that. Got some folks coming in to show the kid one of those. And you can hardly buy a used car for that kind of money, especially backed up by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, America's best warranty, and then get 3 years' worth of free maintenance. So they can drive the car for 3 years, not have to pay for oil changes or tire rotations, and 5-year unlimited mileage roadside assistance. So if they're out off to school somewhere or they call you at, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, say, I got a flat tire. Well, all you got to do is call roadside assistance. They'll come and rescue your child or family and take care of that. So we're a springtime automobile destination for local trips, long trips, kids, whatever you got. It is Green Hyundai. And you can enjoy the Memorial Day construction clearance event that's going on the low overhead east side of Springfield. Green Hyundai. Greg?
Lauterbach Man here. I'm the hulking, handsome man standing out front of Lauterbach Tire and Auto. At Lauterbach Tire, we sell tires. Maybe that sounds obvious to you, but when I say tires, I just don't mean those rubber things on your car. We're exceptional at that, but we also have tires for trailers, motorhomes, and those adorable little tires on your lawnmower. Now, where else will you find those kinds of choices, One place made for people who need tires on anything that needs tires, Lauterbach Tire. We also have tires on our comfy shuttle van. That means while our expert technicians are working on your car, truck, or lawnmower, we'll shuttle you wherever you need to go. I mean, within reason. We're not going to drive you to Germany or anything like that. That's silly. Nothing to see there anyway. When you need tires for anything that needs tires, come to Lauterbach Tire. Lauterbach Tire and Auto Service on Wabash. Drive safely now. On tires.
The following conversation brought to you by Omega. 800-300-9ERC. That's 800-300-9372. OmegaTaxCredits.com.
I thought I couldn't get the ERC if I got the PPP loan.
Nope. If you're a business owner with 5 to 500 employees, you might be eligible.
I thought it was really difficult to apply for the ERC.
Not if you use Omega. See, Omega is an accounting firm that has been around for over 15 years. They are a true accounting firm that will have a fiduciary relationship with you and your business, and they don't get paid until you get paid.
But I'm sure it takes forever to find out if you're eligible.
Again, no. If you call 800-300-9ERC, you could learn if you're a good candidate in less than 10 minutes.
I make a call that takes less than 10 minutes, and I can find out if my company is pre-qualified to receive a tax credit up to $26,000 per employee.
During the qualifying time frame, yes.
I'm checking out OmegaTaxCredits.com right now.
This conversation was voiced by actors that belong to a company that has already filed for their ERC.
A driver who isn't wearing their seatbelt may get a ticket. A driver who isn't wearing their seatbelt during a crash may not make it home. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
All right, head over to WMAY.com/poll and take today's daily poll, which asks, do you agree with Springfield Mayor Misty Buscher's decision to oust Lincoln Library Director Summer Griffith? Yes or no? It was split even whenever we checked it last hour, but a lot more votes since then, and 87% of you say, yeah, you agree with Misty Buscher's decision to oust the Lincoln Library Director, Summer Griffith. Go vote at WMAY.com, and while you're at the website, find out how you can win a $75 flight rebate from Fly SPI, celebrating 75 years as Springfield's airport.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Listen on demand at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
All right, back at it with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY. And the Council Roundup brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Let's get back into the ordinances up for consideration. One deals with state grant dollars to the total of $623,000 for a Route 66 program going through Springfield. Here's how that played out last night at the Springfield City Council meeting.
To be used for funding three attraction projects on Route 66 and authorizing a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $623,000 for the Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Now, Alderman Roy Williams Jr. had some questions we'll get to in a moment, but Alderman Sean Gregory also wanted to make sure that this grant money was used to include the Black experience on Route 66.
How have we articulated the Black journey along Route 66 within this grant? I recognize that it's going to be spread out through 5 different towns, of course, and part of that history is 2 of those towns were sundown towns, and I want to ensure that here in Springfield, there's 2 of the last 22 places where African American or black individuals could go on Route 66, and 2 of them still stand here in the 1500 and 1600 block of East Ash. As well as, on 11th Street, I believe it's 103, it used to be. And
so, Gregory wanting to make sure that the black experience is included in these grant dollars with whatever presentation they're going to make. The city's tourism director, Scott Dahl, addressing some of those concerns.
These are Route 66 specific grants. This is the second round of these grants. You may recall in the first round, we funded the Route History Metaverse, the Black Experience on Route 66. That will be done by June 30th of this year, and we'll be able to take them through that experience. For this second round, again, we need to stay on Route 66, and we need to stay on that main artery that we've identified in our master interpretive plan
Mr.
that
Down,
we rolled
I'm
out.
not trying to direct you, but I get that. And there was a portion of people that would love to stay on that route, but, at dark, they had to go somewhere else. So how does that story get told? And I'm well aware of the thing that we're doing at the fair, but wouldn't it be a great idea to mark one of those so people who come along that journey to see those things could, especially who look like me, could really go to what their actual experience was and see it since it is here. And that's more so what I'm articulating, that when we have these, it's very hard for me to vote and support these things, and then I look all whatever when we're not, thinking it with a broad brush, and thinking about everybody. So I just wanted to make those comments, and I appreciate you.
So
these
Dahl
grants are very
continued
specific to Route 66, and that's the reason why. And again, we follow that interpretive plan. We try to use that main artery. I will tell you, though, Alderman, that I do believe that we can build those experiences, those black traveler experiences on 66 into the murals. So if they're not located if they're located just off 66, we're unable to put a mural there, the murals that we do put on 66, we can incorporate some of those black experiences in there. And
so Dahl continues to discuss this a bit further with what the goals are of these grant dollars. Again, state grant dollars. And nothing's been set in stone as to where it's going to be spent on or what murals are going to look like or whatnot. It's just to confirm getting these dollars.
I hear you and I see you about telling that history across the tracks. We've had those discussions. We'll build those in there. But these specific grants have to stay on Route 66, and that's why we've chosen some of these locations and built in that regionality.
And new Springfield Alderman Larry Rockford addressed a corridor he says needs some love and attention.
Along 9th Street, the underpass right off of Converse Avenue. Any plans for signage there? I know I spoke with Nate Bottom back in February about maybe sprucing that up. It's an old, ugly, rust-colored, they painted some murals on the side of the viaduct there, on the wall, excuse me. But any plans for signage or welcome to Springfield? I mean, that is a main drag. That's we need to get the road fixed, by the way, too.
Oh, absolutely. No, and I'm all for that. Yeah,
but anyway, just to put a bug in your ear. But anyway.
So obviously, some desire to clean things up in certain corridors, and Dahl says, there's some things they can put on places and things they can't put on places, especially if you're talking about railroad infrastructure and whatnot, but that could change depending on who takes ownership of that ultimately. But there are other questions about this, not just with the grant dollars and how they're going to be used or where they're going to be used, but Alderman Williams had some questions about conflicts of interest, where there could be some entities getting these dollars that have connections to elected officials.
So then I just want to make sure, since we're going to vote on something and we don't know the addresses and we don't know the owner's names of each individual place, has that been vetted thoroughly to where we know that we're not violating any kind of ethical law or any kind of law in any type of form? Since we didn't want to do disclosure, as a council, we'll just do it this way. Each time these kind of projects that you bring, we have to look at where they're going to make sure that we don't.
And Williams is referencing disclosure that was an ordinance that was proposed by Williams and a few others that wanted to have more disclosures of elected officials and to possible conflicts of interest. Last week, if you remember, that was one of several tabled ordinances. They brought it up, and then you had a motion to table it, and the motion to table essentially saying we're not going to take this up, that had the majority. So the majority of the aldermen motioned to table, and that stuck. So they didn't have that particular issue. So Williams is essentially saying that he just wants more transparency in all of this.
Own property or a part of ownership or whatever, should we be doing this at that location is my question, to all the locations that you so far are looking at.
And then Springfield Mayor Misty Buscher, she chimes in, reiterating something that Tourism Director Scott Dahl had to say, that, listen, none of this is set in stone at this moment.
I believe that is what the director is saying tonight, that it's just trying to get the grant money from the state. The locations are not in place yet.
Correct.
Is that true?
Correct. Okay, thank you.
I think your packet had examples and ideas. For instance, Alderman Gregory's suggestion of changing some of the format of what they look like as well would be considered, I would hope.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate it.
So that moves forward, but you did have Alderwoman Conley make the point that, listen, Alder people have to disclose a lot of things. And all elected officials have to disclose a lot of things whenever they're running for office.
But if there's a question about property holdings that someone has on this council, that information is available from the county clerk's office. We all had to file it. It's a requirement of holding office.
Oh, I agree. I mean,
So I think instead of maybe asking a question every time we spend money, who owns this property, if your concern is if anyone around this council or any elected official, because we all file these, has a conflict of interest, I think certainly that information has been reported and disclosed to the county clerk in our economic disclosure statements.
So, again, that measure for the $630,000 in a tourism grant from the city to, or from the state dollars only to the city to accept those state dollars, that did advance and was ultimately approved last night. All right, it is the Springfield City Council Roundup coming back. We'll get to new and unfinished business and a whole bunch of other things as well. Stay tuned. It's Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop. The Council Roundup brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Now, 734 from Culver's West on Wabash. Let's check headlines.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the three big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. An executive with Springfield Clinic says its partnership with the Shields Sports Park is not just an investment in that facility, but in the broader development of Legacy Point. Appearing live on WMAY, Chief Development Officer Cal Thomas says the newly announced deal will lead to establishment of sports medicine facilities at the sports park itself, as well as an off-site, state-of-the-art walk-in clinic at Legacy Point, offering urgent care and a variety of specialty services. He says the clinic will invest millions in the project, but could not provide a more exact figure. Thomas expects groundbreaking for the sports park to happen in July, if not sooner, and says the new clinic services inside and outside the park should be operational by late 2024 or early 2025. Hundreds of moms have come to the Illinois Capitol to demand more action against gun violence. Even though Illinois has passed numerous gun restrictions, including an assault weapons ban that remains tied up in court, the group Moms Demand Action says more can and should be done to keep Illinoisans safe. The group held a rally at the State House Tuesday calling for passage of several measures, including new requirements for safe gun storage and provisions to make it easier to sue the gun industry over acts of mass violence. Springfield Mayor Misty Buscher is not offering any more explanation for her decision to fire the director of Lincoln Library and another top library staffer. Summer Griffith was informed Monday that her services are no longer needed, but says no other reason was given for the decision. A spokesperson for Buscher says a nationwide search will get underway to find a library director with a library sciences degree, something Griffith did not have. The spokesperson says that will ensure the library doesn't miss out on any grant funding opportunities. Meanwhile, the library's community engagement manager, Hillary Raines, has also been dismissed. Raines had taken the lead in getting library staff to sign a letter in support of keeping Griffith on. Buscher's office won't comment on whether that prompted Raines' firing. District 186 has apparently given up on the idea of combining 3 elementary schools at a site on South 11th Street. The school board voted Monday night to continue with negotiations on the purchase of a smaller parcel of developed land at that site, which could serve as a consolidated administrative building for the district. But the board will not pursue the larger property where it had initially planned to build a new school combining Hazeldale, Laketown, and Southern View schools. The district has not ruled out merging those three schools at a different site. Meanwhile, the board also approved the purchase of several parcels of land near Springfield High School. The $2 million purchase will provide more space for a planned rebuild and expansion of Springfield High over the next several years. Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
WMAY News, brought to you by The Inn at 835. Let The Inn at 835 handle your next business or social gathering with style.
As a state employee, you work hard to make Illinois a better place. At Health Alliance, we do too. It's our Illinois roots that set us apart. Our HMO plan for state of Illinois employees features the doctors and hospitals you know and trust. So whether you're a first responder in O'Fallon or a staffer in Springfield, Health Alliance is the obvious choice for your state employee coverage. Learn more at healthalliance.org/state of Illinois. The benefit choice period ends May 30.
Even for a head was browning today. Yeah.
Hi, it's Taylor Stevens from Synergy Home Care. Catch our business spotlight this afternoon at 5:40 on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Everywhere you are with TuneIn Radio, the WMAY app, or at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Sunny skies today, high near 77 degrees, low tonight about 52. Tomorrow sunny with a high near 79, low around 61. Friday, expect afternoon showers with a high near 76. Sunny skies for the weekend, both days, Saturday and Sunday, will have highs in the 70s, and Monday, sunny with a high near 81 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
What are you hungry for?
Obed and Isaac sounds good.
They're always busy.
Yeah, they are. It's because the food is great. The selection of craft beer is amazing, and it's downtown. It couldn't be at a better location.
What if we have to wait?
We'll put in our name, give them our number to text us when our table is ready, and then go next door to the 7th Street Cidery and start there.
I like the way you think. They serve meads too, right?
Yeah, they do. You can get your mead, and I'll start with a flight of cider. They're constantly getting new ciders on tap all the time.
What if Obed's isn't busy and they seat us right away?
The cidery doesn't close till 11, so we can just finish the night there.
You've got this all figured out, don't you?
Yeah, I do. You should see my reward points that I've built up.
So, you're buying, right?
I didn't say that.
That's what I heard.
No, you didn't.
Obed and Isaac's Microbrewery, located in downtown Springfield, right next door to the 7th Street Cidery. Enjoy.
If you're planning a furniture facelift, your timing couldn't be better. Hendricks Home Furnishings is moving all floor samples and warehouse overstock today. They need it all gone, so prices have been slashed to historic lows, never before seen and never to be seen again. That includes Lazy Boy. Come choose your favorites. Get it delivered fast and free during this one and only clearance blowout at the place where you can always talk to the owner. Hendricks Home Furnishings on Route 4, Verdon, and online at hendricks.tv.
You have cancer. 3 words you wish you could unhear. While a cancer diagnosis may be a shock to your system, cancer surgery doesn't have to be. Now there's Edge Radiosurgery at HSHS St. John's Cancer Center. Edge technology breaks down tumors non-invasively. No incision or hospital stay required. Now that's the kind of news you want to hear. Learn more about the Edge and our comprehensive cancer treatment plans at st-johns.org/edge. Edge Radiosurgery is not appropriate for all cancers. Serious side effects including fatigue and skin irritation can occur. Treatment times may vary.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
All right, back with the Council Roundup, Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. The Council Roundup brought to you each and every week by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Their downtown location open for lunch, Head West Subs. So last night was the first Springfield City Council meeting with Mayor Misty Buscher, and you had last week the Committee of the Whole. While Misty Buscher was mayor then, it wasn't a full committee, so she wasn't at the helm. So you had last week a couple of instances where some aldermen had ordinances that they wanted to have considered. They were brought up, they were mentioned, but then they were quickly tabled. And I think there were 2 or 3 different ordinances, and that prompted Alderman Sean Gregory to essentially say that, if they're not going to have any options to move ordinances forward that they feel are necessary for their wards, then what are these wards, in particular 2 and 3, doing as part of the city council? So he made those statements, and after that made further statements to media. Well, he wanted to address some of those things last night at the city council during new and unfinished business. Here is Alderman Sean Gregory sharing some of his thoughts.
Alderman Gregory beat you to the punch.
He did. I pressed it twice.
That don't happen much, but that doesn't happen much, but that's divine intervention. Because what I have to say is important, and I say this to Mayor Buscher. I have to practice calling you that because I'm used to calling you Miss Misty for such a long time. So I will practice that and not do that.
And he went on to talk about some of his comments from last week and his sentiments and what he's really trying to convey with that line of thinking.
But this community has been all the way back since the get-go has always been a fight, whether it was Frank or whether it was Gail or whether it was Herman and now me. This ward will always fight. We Abraham Lincoln is the the man in this town, and he did the Emancipation Proclamation, and he also said that African Americans will forever be protected to fight for their freedom, to fight for the things that are just and right. So when I speak on that, please don't take it in such a manner, because when we're not addressing these things, I'm fine. We laugh, we joke, we all have fun, and things of that nature. And then when I feel strongly about something, I just feel strongly about something, just like all of you do, and all of you have an opinion. So I just wanted to say that. And to my sister in Ward 5, I do respect you. We fought for you to get here. We carried those opinions for you to get here. I do respect you. I don't act any type of different way from you or anybody else on this council when I don't like a decision that we have made. We've worked together before. We're going to continue to work together in the future. I thought I had just shown that when it was a time to make a point, but I didn't make that point. I did what was right. And Alderman Williams was mad at me. So it is what it is. I'm always going to just try to do the best that I think that I can do. I am passionate about some things, and I've been here for a while, and I think you guys know what I'll be passionate about. So thank you. I just wanted to.
So it's Alderman Sean Gregory sharing some of his comments. He pointed to Alderwoman Purchase, who spoke after that, not necessarily directly to Alderman Gregory's points, but she did want to talk about some events downtown that were a big success.
Excellent weekend at the Fat Ass 5K. We raised over $100,000 for them to distribute out. And I also want to give a shout out to my colleagues, Alderman Hanauer and Alderman Donnellan, and their wives came out, and of course, Madam Mayor Busher and her husband. It was really nice, and we have coming up that I would like to invite everyone and my colleagues out again. This Saturday is the Farmers Market ribbon cutting, and that's at 9 a.m. at 4th and Adams. Following that, 1 hour later, you don't even have to get in your car. Just walk right on over to Old Capitol, in front of the Old State Capitol. We have the Old Art Capitol ribbon cutting, and then following that, just come right on back over to the Y Block, and we have the ribbon cutting for Pride Fest. So please come out. There's a lot going on, a lot of activity, and we had 3,000 participants this Saturday. Downtown was packed. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for coming out and participating, and the organization did a very good job. Reach out to them because, as you just said, Alderman Gregory, they give money to non-for-profits, but I want to try to help since I'm an African-American female for downtown and you're over on the east side. Let's bring everybody together. Ward 5 is the centrally located area where there's a lot of activity going on, so I want everyone to feel welcome.
So Alderwoman Purchase celebrating events downtown, obviously with the weather nice, a lot of activities downtown, and a lot of things to do downtown. But part of new and unfinished business, more statements from Alder people, including Roy Williams Jr., who shared some of his thoughts about a different ordinance he was looking to get passed dealing with absentee landlords that ultimately was tabled last week, if you recall. Here's Alderman Williams.
That when I sponsor an ordinance, I know what I'm thinking. I don't know who the media is telling me, well, you were trying to punish Busher's sponsors. That's not true, Mayor. I want you to know that, because I don't even really know all your sponsors. I know people who voted for you, but I don't know who sponsored you per se. Secondly, I was just truly trying to get to my landlords that don't show up. I truly need those lots taken care of. I truly need that grass cut. I need all these things done. And I'm not scared of a debate. And that's all I was trying to do, was get to debate. I can live with being tabled, but we should do the right thing as a council. We should be disclosing. We should be after these bad landlords. Has nothing to do with you. I wanted you to know. Yet they said, oh, well, that's what he was trying to do, so we wanted to have a new. I don't feel like we really went anew. They said he went politics. I feel like that brought the politics in, doing it 3 times table, 3 very good ordinances. When you look at them on their face, they got a packet. Just same way I dug into my questions today, I dig into all of it.
So, again, Roy Williams Jr. Wanting to share his thoughts about one of the ordinances he proposed not advancing. But the mayor, she wanted to make sure that, hey, she's only been in office for a handful of days. And when dealing with code enforcement, she wants to be able to, in a way, spread her wings and actually do the code enforcement as the new administration. Here's Mayor Misty Busher reacting to Alderman Williams' concerns.
I do want to ask if, as the new mayor, I'm 8 days in, that you would allow me the opportunity and my new public works director to enforce the code of ordinances that's in place now for problem properties, because he and I have never had that opportunity. My predecessor had the opportunity for 8 years, and I hear your frustration, but I would like to have the opportunity to enforce it myself.
So she's been in office for 8 days. Let her get her, bearings as to how to enforce code to make sure landlords are held accountable, while her predecessor had 8 years, she says. So Williams provides reaction.
I'm telling you right now, we have some problems with landlord issues, and I am going to bring ordinances to try to fix it.
Okay, and I'm asking Director Dave to get with you after the meeting, if you don't mind, Public Works Director.
Thank you.
Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay.
So that's your council roundup from last night's Springfield City Council meeting here on WMAY. Brought to you each and every weekday by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Their downtown location open for lunch. Head West Subs. Each and every week, check it out. The Council Roundup, a review of Springfield City Council happenings. All right, got to take a break. It is Springfield's Morning News. And coming back a little bit later on in the next hour, we will have the business in the 217. We'll also revisit some of the arguments from the Illinois Supreme Court hearing yesterday. Maybe open it up for your phone calls as well at 217-629-7970. That's the phone number on WMAY. All right, stay tuned. Much more coming up at 7:51 right now. Let's take a look at Springfield's dependable 5-day forecasts. And it looks like today we're going to see mostly sunny skies, partly cloudy overnight. The high of 76, the low of 53. Thursday, the high of 78 with sunshine. By Friday, we got a high of 76 with some showers likely. And then Saturday, the high of 72 should be nice with sunny skies. Right now, 53 degrees in Springfield on WMAY at 7:51 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
You probably think the sun is what's costing you money in this summer with all that heat driving up your air conditioning bills. But what if the sun could save you money? It's time to schedule your free residential solar estimate today from MB Heating and Cooling. Solar energy could be the way to bring down your bills while helping to promote a cleaner, greener environment. Illinois wants to produce 25% of its electricity from renewable resources by the year 2025. So this is a great time to enhance your home with solar paneling. You can start with little to no money down and enjoy monthly solar payments that are lower than your budget for electricity. You'll even qualify for federal and state tax incentives. MB Heating and Cooling has been creating healthy homes and businesses here in our area since 1986. They have certified technicians staying on top of the latest trends in the industry. So reach out to MB Heating and Cooling to talk about whether solar is right for you. 217-544-HEAT, 217-544-4328, or mb-heating.com.
Lauterbach Man here. I'm the hulking, handsome man standing out front of Lauterbach Tire and Auto. At Lauterbach Tire, we sell tires. Maybe that sounds obvious to you, but when I say tires, I just don't mean those rubber things on your car. We're exceptional at that, but we also have tires for trailers, motorhomes, and those adorable little tires on your lawnmower. Now, where else will you find those kinds of choices, One place made for people who need tires on anything that needs tires, Lauterbach Tire. We also have tires on our comfy shuttle van. That means while our expert technicians are working on your car, truck, or lawnmower, we'll shuttle you wherever you need to go. I mean, within reason. We're not going to drive you to Germany or anything like that. That's silly. Nothing to see there anyway. When you need tires for anything that needs tires, come to Lauterbach Tire. Lauterbach Tire and Auto Service on Wabash. Drive safely now. On tires.
Here's one thing that psychologists and therapists believe to be a key step to achieving better mental health, and it doesn't cost a thing. Spending time outside. That's right, the natural light, the wind against your skin, the sounds and fragrances of the season all work in concert to help you feel better. Now, you can't treat clinical depression and addiction with just one step. Those are more serious problems, especially with drugs and alcohol. The team of nurses, counselors, physicians, and psychologists at Gateway Foundation understand that. They know what you're going through, and they can show you the way out. Your insurance covers treatment, and the Family Medical Leave protects your job. If your situation appears hopeless, make the confidential call to Gateway at 877-505-HOPE, 877-505-HOPE, and start feeling better today. Gateway Foundation. Addiction medicine, saving lives.
You hear a lot about influencers these days. Our personalities have been influencing local purchasing decisions long before it was a hot new marketing buzzword.
It's Mike Winmacher. I do the play-by-play for Glenwood Titan football on WMAY. I enjoy doing that and enjoy being part of the community. If you got a business, want me to help you sell it, you know who to contact. Not me. People higher up than me that know more about the business stuff. But I'm happy to talk about it.
Learn about all of our influencers and campaign strategy. Start the conversation today at MidwestFamilySPI.com.
No matter where you live, what you make, or who you voted for, there are some things that will impact all of us soon. Whether you're concerned about the alarming increase in man-made disasters, financial institutions collapsing, or worsening food shortages, Americans are preparing in numbers not seen since World War II. What's changed is how we prepare. And the folks at My Patriot Supply have made it easier than ever for you to have peace of mind, knowing you're ready for what's next. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and stock up on over a dozen emergency food kits. These include tasty breakfasts, lunches, dinners, drinks, fruits, veggies, meats, and snacks, averaging over 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one kit per person. As we all know, calories equals energy equals survival. My Patriot Supply food kits are in stock and shipped discreetly. We've seen too many Americans let down by institutions we used to trust. It's time to rely on ourselves. MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Take Springfield's morning news with Greg Bishop everywhere with the free WMAY mobile app. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
Well, the Illinois legislature has today, Thursday, and Friday. 3 days left to pass a state budget. Have yet to see those details. Will they make it happen? What else are they going to do in the final 3 days of legislative session? Are they going to pass more measures controlling guns in Illinois? There's a couple of different bills that are advancing out of the House. Will they be brought up in the Illinois Senate? That's a big question. We'll be watching that. But also other things like ethics reforms. Are they going to be able to come to an agreement on how to deal with ethics because of the ComEd 4 trial that resulted in guilty verdicts for all of those who were charged? You've got Mike Madigan, the former House Speaker, at the center of all of that. He was not part of the ComEd 4 trial. He faces trial next year, but now we have those guilty verdicts and, a way of seeing how exactly the law may need to be changed. Is it time for those individuals to come about and, ultimately have some accountability? So will they have actual changes to ethics laws? I think that's a big question, has yet to be revealed. But there's a lot of other, proposals and priorities that lawmakers are advancing, and including, various measures dealing with education, dealing with language within state statute. And these are all going to come to a head in the final 3 days of the legislative session. One measure that they passed yesterday out of the House Bill, I believe, 219, it would allow for the defendants, if they're found liable in their businesses, and they're found liable in the death of an individual, if that's through negligence or through repeated actions that are harmful, then the law that they're looking to pass would allow for punitive damages. And the business community came out in force yesterday, essentially saying that this is going to further harm businesses and lead to more businesses putting up for sale signs in Illinois. But regardless of that, legislators in the House, they went ahead and passed that. So we'll see if the Senate brings that up. So there's going to be a lot of action. We'll be monitoring it all for you and bring you the very latest. Coming back, we'll revisit some of the arguments at the Illinois Supreme Court, and in particular, the overarching question of conflicts of interest of a couple of justices. So stay tuned. We'll touch on that next.
From the Fly SPI studios, take the easy way out. WMAY FM, Taylorville, Springfield's news and talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Justin Finch. Security failure at National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan's house.
It's 3 a.m. in the morning in late April, and a strange man simply walks through an unlocked door into the home of the National Security Advisor, one of the most important people in all of U.S. government. And the story gets worse. There's a detail of Secret Service agents outside who apparently do not see him go in.
ABC News Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas says the man appeared to be intoxicated when he was confronted by Sullivan. The Secret Service now investigating the breakdown. President Biden will leave later this morning for Japan and the G7 meeting of world leaders. But here at home, the lack of an agreement on raising the debt ceiling will have the president cutting his trip short.
The president will now return back to Washington on Sunday. With time running out, the White House is calling on both parties to negotiate in good faith and recognize that neither side will get everything at once.
ABC News senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott. From New York to Chicago to Denver, cities scrambling to accommodate more migrants as Texas Governor Greg Abbott continues to bus asylum seekers from the southern border. In New York City, many parents and students like this one upset about plans to temporarily house migrants in public school gymnasiums.
I'm really sad because they took away our prom, our carnival, and we worked really hard for it.
Republican lawmakers in North Carolina have voted to uphold a ban on most abortions after 12 weeks of pregnancy. They voted to override the Democratic governor's veto, clearing the way for the law to take effect. Anti-abortion activist Benny Mangus cheering the decision.
The child has no voice. The child didn't ask to be here. A child is a life from conception.
This is ABC News.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan, double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. Very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE. 877-20.
All right, coming up with Springfield's Morning News, I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. We've got a little bit more deep into some comments that I got from Jerry Stocks, the attorney defending the plaintiff's arguments in the Illinois Supreme Court against Illinois' gun and magazine ban. But really, it's the question of possible conflicts of interest and whether or not justices should have recused themselves because they got sizable contributions to their campaign funds from Governor J.B. Pritzker and House Speaker Emanuel Chris Welch. So we'll get to that next here on WMAY. Jerry Stocks, his response as to if that issue has been settled or not. Next up here on WMAY now, 8:04, and let's get a check of headlines.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. Springfield Mayor Misty Buscher is not offering any more explanation for her decision to fire the director of Lincoln Library and another top library staffer. Summer Griffith was informed Monday that her services are no longer needed, but says no other reason was given for the decision. A spokesperson for Buscher says a nationwide search will get underway to find a library director with a library sciences degree, something Griffith did not have. The spokesperson says that will ensure the library doesn't miss out on any grant funding opportunities. Meanwhile, the library's community engagement manager, Hillary Raines, has also been dismissed. Raines had taken the lead in getting library staff to sign a letter in support of keeping Griffith on. Buscher's office won't comment on whether that prompted Raines' firing. Hundreds of moms have come to the Illinois Capitol to demand more action against gun violence. Even though Illinois has passed numerous gun restrictions, including an assault weapons ban that remains tied up in court, the group Moms Demand Action says more can and should be done to keep Illinoisans safe. The group held a rally at the State House Tuesday calling for passage of several measures, including new requirements for safe gun storage and provisions to make it easier to sue the gun industry over acts of mass violence. One of the biggest names in country music has been booked for the Illinois State Fair Grandstand. Three-time Grammy winner Tim McGraw will be the headliner on Thursday, August 17th. McGraw has had 46 number-one country hits and has sold more than 90 million records worldwide. Opening for McGraw will be a rising country star, Landon Parker. Tickets for Tim McGraw in the grandstand go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. through Ticketmaster at prices ranging from $85 to $150. Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
Hello, everybody. It's Cousin Bill with Illinois Paving, and we want to thank you for voting us #1 Reader's Choice Award Paver of the Year. Now, is that driveway of yours a sloppy, muddy mess? Is your driveway becoming a nuisance? Are you getting stuck in your driveway? Maybe your driveway is soft and it's unfunctional.
Spend more time enjoying vacation. Book your flight from SPI at Allegiant.com. Fly local. Fly SPI. Take the easy way out.
Take the easy way out.
Sangamon Mass Transit District, along with the Springfield-Sangamon County Regional Planning Commission, invite you to take a more active approach to getting around.
Leave your car at home and take this year's Curb Your Car Active Transportation Challenge, May 14th through the 20th.
Any passenger with a bicycle rides free all that week.
Plus, everyone rides free all day on Transit Tuesday, May 16th.
Are you up for the challenge? Curb your car and ride with SMTD.
For more information on routes and schedules, visit smtd.org.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI Studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
I am sure this is something that the right wing is trying to stir up. I know you've written about it. The fact of the matter is I supported candidates who are running all across the board. If you're suggesting that the fact that I gave money to, let's say, the Democratic Party or to the committees that supported candidates means that everybody who received any money has to recuse themselves from anything to do with the state of Illinois, that's ridiculous. And I've certainly never asked anybody to vote a certain way or decide on a case a certain way. I would never do that. I never have. I never will. And these are independent judges, and they didn't go around and campaign on things, that they thought would win my support for them. I believe in them. I supported them like lots of other people did.
That's Governor J.B. Pritzker addressing the allegations of a conflict of interests with the Supreme Court justices that he gave $1 million to. It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Let's get back into it with the allegations that the state ban on assault weapons violates the Constitution on equal protections grounds. We earlier today did delve quite a bit into the questions of whether or not this violated the Equal Protections Clause of the Constitution, and it's something that is being considered by the courts. The Supreme Court hearing oral arguments yesterday, and those oral arguments ranging from, is this really a Second Amendment violation or an equal protections violation? And all of that was debated, including from a couple of the justices on the bench that had allegations of some kind of conflict of interest. And this is something that was talked about quite a bit. And as you heard back in March, when I asked Governor J.B. Pritzker about the $1 million he gave to the two Supreme Court justice candidates, here is, again, Governor J.B. Pritzker reacting to my question back in March.
I am sure this is something that the right wing is trying to stir up. I know you've written about it. The fact of the matter is I supported candidates who are running all across the board. If you're suggesting that the fact that I gave money to, let's say, the Democratic Party or to the committees that supported candidates means that everybody who received any money has to recuse themselves from anything to do with the state of Illinois, that's ridiculous. And I've certainly never asked anybody to vote a certain way or decide on a case a certain way. I would never do that. I never have. I never will. And these are independent judges, and they didn't go around and campaign on things, that they thought would win my support for them. I believe in them. I supported them like lots of other people did.
So the governor not really seeing that there's a problem with him giving justice candidates $1 million each in that election last year. They ended up winning and ultimately having seats on the bench. And that raised questions for Attorney Jerry Stocks, who, said that there's an issue here, a conflict. The motion he made was denied by the Supreme Court justices to recuse themselves, so they remained on the bench. And one of those justices, Mary O'Brien, she did not ask Stocks any questions during the hearing yesterday, but Justice Elizabeth Rochford did. Here's what she had to say during her Q&A with the attorney representing Dan Calkins, Jerry Stocks.
In this statute, there are 7 categories of exempted individuals, all of whom must undergo training to maintain their exempt status. And the plaintiff, in this case, the plaintiffs, you're saying, well, they have FOID cards, correct?
They have the right to bear arms for self-defense in the home. The FOID card doesn't give them that right. The FOID card is just a mechanism by which the state can assure that they're not otherwise disqualified. The FOID Act is written in a very negative sense in that manner, is that because the state doesn't have the power to decide whether you have Second Amendment rights, that was codified and pre-existed any power of the state.
So Stocks, again, in his back and forth with Elizabeth Rochford, that back and forth continued yesterday at the Illinois Supreme Court.
These plaintiffs similarly situated to the exempt individuals.
They all have FOID cards. They all have the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms in their home. And Bruin has even gone, and Caetano's gone farther to say that right of confrontation may extend beyond the home. But for purposes of this case and the arguments below, We are out to protect where they are all similarly situated, to have Second Amendment or Article 1, Section 22 rights in their home, which is the right to keep and bear arms of common use. And that is a prima facie case, which when we get back to the pleadings, is that the prima facie case is established. And under Bruin, once the prima facie case of that protected right is established.
A prima facie case of what?
So the debate continued, and we went into a lot of that earlier this morning. But Stocks, after the hearing, he didn't want to predict a timeline of when this is actually going to be settled at the Illinois Supreme Court.
The less persuasive they found us, the quicker the ruling. But I don't know. There's just no way. You can never predict. I mean, I know internally I'm sure they have goals. Undeniably, they understand the significance of the issues. They might actually hope that something happens in a federal court that could, whichever goes first, could actually end up mooting the other in many respects.
But what's going to happen with the question of biased justices? Again, he filed a motion to have these justices recuse themselves. Those justices and the court denied that motion. Stocks, he said that there's still some options out there to move forward with it.
First, we have to see what the ruling is. And I have to respect the process and the decisions that govern that decision they made. But that was called a Caperton challenge. And Caperton says that a court of review must accord due process in the context of freedom from bias or prejudice on an issue, our motion in form or the appearance of it. And Caperton, as a U.S. Supreme Court case, requires that to be an objective test. And so we personally feel that the orders that came back were subjective tests that imposed a burden of proving actual bias or prejudice. We would disagree with that, but it may not ultimately manifest in any impact in the case. That really cannot be measured until we see how the ruling is, and if the ruling is adverse, then we just have to measure and evaluate that at that time. I remain and stand behind the issues raised in that motion because I submit that it is the prudent course for our judiciary to be highly guarded on those issues. And I recognize that they got to be careful not to disqualify themselves out of every case. I mean, it's a tough call. And Illinois politics makes it really tough on judges because they have to be elected in this state. So I recognize those issues, but my personal view as a downstater is it's pretty darn corrupt in Illinois, and I know our perception downstate is that we want to see that the process and the institutions, not aspersions on the individuals, but that the institutions and our procedures do more to protect against that.
Could you take this to the federal courts, the U.S. Supreme Court?
We will evaluate those issues. I would say that the Caperton issues remain under consideration and viable.
And that's Caperton is referring to
the
campaign contributions?
There are other components to that. It's not just the money. It's a threefold matter. It's from whom it came, being the other branches of government, and the independence and separation of powers concerned. 2, the amount. And 3, the reported pledge. We didn't say, we don't know what they said to the Political Action Committee. We know only what the Political Action Committee advertised they said. And they may, they had an opportunity and they deserved an opportunity to address that issue. And they expressed it, and I will accept that they were sincere in what they expressed, and that's what good judges would do.
And timeline here, I know that you can't.
So again, that's Jerry Stocks, the attorney for Dan Calkins, talking about the ongoing questions of bias of these justices. after they denied a motion for them to recuse themselves. And ultimately, this could go to another court, just depending on what the outcome is and whether the perceived bias, they say, plays out in their decision. So we may have to revisit that conversation again in the future. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, 8:20 now from Culver's West on Wabash.
Work with a team that cares about being the best part of the customer's day. Apply today at Culver's West on Wabash.
Hey, business owners, recruitment is tough, isn't it? And it doesn't seem to be getting any easier. Here are some things to remember. Your best recruit is working somewhere else right now, so they're not going to be attending job fairs or browsing classifieds. Try building a profile of your best employee. Where did they come from? Then let's talk to more of those people. And use some tools that your competitors might not be. Hint, hint. Indeed discovered that a long time ago. And they're big radio users, but it's not just radio. It's that combined with targeted digital campaigns spearheaded by local people like us, people who can visit your office or restaurant or golf course or wherever. My name's Dave Dennis. I rejoined Midwest Family a while back as an integrated marketing consultant because of the great things that can happen if you decide to talk to it.
Behind what we sell, we offer so much more. Big bad knife, a buyer's world. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Lauterbach Man here. I'm the hulking, handsome man standing out front of Lauterbach Tire and Auto. At Lauterbach Tire, we sell tires. Maybe that sounds obvious to you, but when I say tires, I just don't mean those rubber things on your car. We're exceptional at that, but we also have tires for trailers, motorhomes, and those adorable little tires on your lawnmower. Now, where else will you find those kinds of choices, One place made for people who need tires on anything that needs tires, Lauterbach Tire. We also have tires on our comfy shuttle van. That means while our expert technicians are working on your car, truck, or lawnmower, we'll shuttle you wherever you need to go. I mean, within reason. We're not going to drive you to Germany or anything like that. That's silly. Nothing to see there anyway. When you need tires for anything that needs tires, come to Lauterbach Tire. Lauterbach Tire and Auto Service on Wabash. Drive safely now. On tires.
If you have a security system, give this a try. Call them and see what their response time is. Can you talk to a real live person 24 hours a day, even weekends and holidays? Are they prompt to follow up with your service requests? Barcom Security is winning customers by outstanding performance on all of those fronts. Every second counts. Contact the Springfield office of Barcom Security for a free estimate and have a secure day.
If you're planning a furniture facelift, your timing couldn't be better. Hendricks Home Furnishings is moving all floor samples and warehouse overstock today. They need it all gone, so prices have been slashed to historic lows, never before seen and never to be seen again. That includes Lazy Boy. Come choose your favorites. Get it delivered fast and free during this one and only clearance blowout at the place where you can always talk to the owner. Hendricks Home Furnishings on Route 4 Verdon and online at hendricks.tv.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Doors take us to summers away or winter adventures and afternoon getaways. Your
dedicated Fidelity advisor can help you open those doors by working with you on a comprehensive plan to help you reach your wealth's full potential. Because doors were meant to be opened. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimum supply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
All right, head on over to WMAY.com and take today's daily poll, which asks you, do you agree with Mayor Misty Buscher's decision to oust Lincoln Library Director Summer Griffith? Yes or no? And looks like 3 out of 4 of you say yeah. You agree with that decision. Go vote at WMAY.com/poll. And while you're at the website, find out how you can win a $75 flight rebate from Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport, celebrating 75 years as Springfield's airport. All you got to do is answer a trivia question, and you're entered to win. Make it happen at WMAY.com. And win today.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
All right, let's talk about business in the 217 as we do each and every Wednesday at this time with Michelle Ownby. She's the publisher of the Springfield Business Journal, joining us here on WMAY. Michelle, let's get right on into it. Tell us about the the Walnut Street Winery. That's happening, something going on in Rochester. What's up there?
Yes, Walnut Street's a little closer than Wall Street, but unfortunately the Walnut Street Winery will be closing the end of June. I talked with owner Lauren Shanley yesterday, and he said it's time to wrap things up. This was actually a second career for him. If you've been around for a while, you may remember he had an insurance agency at that same location from 1994 until 2006. When he retired from the insurance business, and then he decided to learn the art of winemaking, and a few years later opened the winery there. They have about 22 different wines that they produce and bottle there on site, and they're also at different grocery stores and retailers throughout central Illinois. But his son-in-law and daughter have been helping out a lot with the business the last few years, and Lauren said that his son-in-law has basically gotten a better offer, a new job, and so that will no longer allow time for the winery operations. So Lauren said they're going to hang on to the property, not quite sure what they're going to do with it in the future, although he's leaving open the possibility of doing private events. But the weekend of June 25th will be the last opportunity to go out there and enjoy the live music and the local wines. So you'll want to put that date on your calendar.
There you go. Updates as you'll get with the Springfield Business Journal each and every week here on WMAY. And, of course, the Springfield Business Journal out and available. We'll get you details on how to get that. But another story you'll likely see there is a story about an acquisition of a local company. Tell us about what's going on with American Metals Supply.
Yeah, so American Metal Supply, which is a third-generation family-owned business, has been acquired by MacArthur Company. They are based out of Minnesota, and really the two companies are very similar. MacArthur Company is a 110-year-old employee-owned building supplies distributor. They have locations in multiple states, as does American Metal Supply. You know, a lot of folks might not realize American Metals is headquartered here in Springfield, but they actually operate 9 different locations throughout multiple states. And essentially, it's going to be almost business as usual. They're going to keep both their Springfield and other locations open. Now, Steve Hasselbrock is transitioning out of the business as part of this, but his daughter Christy is going to continue on. Chrissy Nardini is going to continue her role as president of the company. So kind of like what we talked about last week with Butler Funeral Homes, where there's now this acquisition with a larger company, but day-to-day operations shouldn't see a whole lot of difference, kind of business as usual as far as the leadership and the staff.
Michelle Ownby, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal, with us on WMAY. A couple of big things people can nominate for through the Springfield Business Journal. Tell us about, we've got the best places to work, and also something I came in just under the wire last year, the 40 under 40.
Right.
So what's going on with these nominations?
Well, so tomorrow we're actually having the reception and award ceremony for Best Places to Work. And in fact, American Metal Supply was one of the companies that we recognized this year, along with Conn's Hospitality Group, MJ Kellner, and a few others. So they are being honored tomorrow evening, and the business community is invited. There's a cocktail reception from 5 to 6 o'clock, followed by a brief award ceremony, and that's taking place at the United Community Bank over there on Montvale Drive. Don't have to have tickets. UCB is the sponsor, so they cover the cost of the program. So stop in and say hi, congratulate the winners. It's always a good networking opportunity as well. And then, yes, as you mentioned, we are now gearing up for our next awards program, which is the 40 Under 40, recognizing young professionals like yourself. So people can get on our website at springfieldbusinessjournal.com and click on the awards tab. 40 Under 40 is actually our longest running awards program, goes all the way back to 1997. So I'm not great at math, but essentially there's a lot of previous recipients at this point. So you can see a list of previous winners. If you're not sure if the person you have in mind has already been selected, just fill out a brief nomination form and tell us why that person should be recognized. And later this month, we will be making those selections.
And these are all things that you'll find with the Springfield Business Journal. Michelle Ownby, the publisher, tell us how people can get a copy of the SBJ.
Well, as long as you're on the website, you might as well go ahead and sign up for BizBytes. That's the weekly digital newsletter, and it's free of charge, so no excuse not to do that. Or, of course, if you want the full-blown print edition with the expanded articles sent directly to your home or office, you can also sign up for that.
Michelle Ownby, greatly appreciate your time each and every week. We'll connect again next week, all right? Be safe out there.
Thanks, Greg.
It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk. That's all I've got for you today. We'll be back at it tomorrow, live and local on WMAY from 6 to 9. Wednesdays, just so everybody knows, we've got Full Disclosure that comes on WMAY at 8:30, so that's why I'm taking off. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Full Disclosure with the Better Government Association and Jim Leach coming your way next on WMAY. All right, it's now 8:32 from Culver's West on Wabash. Let's get a check of headlines.
92